In February of 2022, the Greater Toronto Area real estate market peaked. Median sale prices came in at $1,205,000 before a sharp correction pretty much through the rest of the year. In 2023, those prices peaked in May at $1,035,000. So far in 2024, we are seeing median sale prices start to approach that 2023 peak number, and it begs the question, will we surpass 2023 or will things start to even out and correct again? Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It's me, Rob Marsiglio. Today I want to dive into each market segment in the Greater Toronto Area. So I'm talking Toronto Freehold, Toronto condos, then Durham, York, Peel, and Halton. We're going to look at the median sale prices, where they're at as a 4-week moving average right now compared to the 2023 peak and compared to where we were at last year to try and determine where things will end up in 2024. We'll start with the Toronto Freehold market as our first example. You can see that the second week of March, the 4-week weighted moving average for median sale price is just over $1.3 million. Now, the reason I'm saying the second week of March is because I'm pulling this data from Trendly. It tracks the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board on a weekly basis, giving us sales totals, listings totals, sale prices, all that stuff. And they divide it up by week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 in each month. So to get back to 2023 peak prices, we would need to see prices climb another $105,000 roughly, or about 8%. These numbers are eerily similar to what we saw last year. That median sale price, the 4-week rolling average, was just over $1.3 million. It's about a $2,000 difference from where we're at last year to this year. Prices grew another $103,000, about 7.8% until they reached their peak. When we look at the Toronto Freehold market from a sales as a percentage of new listings perspective, you can see that things have gotten tighter and tighter each month. 48.7% in January to 53.8% in February to 61.2% through the first 13 days of March. The market in early March is a little bit softer than it was last year, but above that 60% mark puts us in technical seller's market territory for the Toronto Freehold market. So market 1 down, Toronto Freehold, things are trending pretty similarly, and it wouldn't surprise me to see us end up back somewhere around that same peak we saw in 2023. Onto the Toronto condo market, we can see through the second week of March, $660,000 roughly is the median sale price, that 4-week weighted moving average. At the peak, that weighted moving average hit $700,000 or so last year. So we would need to see prices grow another $43,000 or so, and about 6.5% from where they're at right now to hit 2023 peak pricing. Again, like Freehold, it's eerily similar to last year, just a couple $1,000 difference from where we're at in week 2 of March 2023 versus March 2024. Prices grew just over $40,000 from the second week of March last year to the peak. Is about 6.14%. Sales as a percentage of new listings for Toronto condos, though, gives us maybe some pause as to whether or not we will see the same price gains in the spring market that we saw last year. In January, 38.7%, it was a tighter market than we saw in 2023. But then things picked up in that Toronto condo market in February and March of last year, whereas we saw a bit of a bump maybe in February this year, but the market has loosened up through the first half of March 2024. So what do you think? And maybe leave me a comment as I go through each section. Do you think that that market segment will hit a new peak, not relative to 2022, but do you think it'll break the 2023 peak? I'm not quite sold on that condos can actually do it. Let's get out of the city and into the suburbs now, starting with Durham Region. Second week of March, that 4-week weighted moving average is $881,000. That's $74,000 or so shy of where we were last year at the peak. So prices would need to grow another 8.46% from where they're at right now to hit those totals. Last year at this time, we were about $30,000 shy of where we're at right now, and prices actually grew another $100,000 from the second week of March to the peak that we saw in late May, early June in terms of that weighted moving average. Prices actually grew 12.12% in terms of median sold price. And Durham Region is doing something totally different than what we saw in the Toronto Freehold and condo markets. It started off tight. We saw big price growth really in January. You know, we remember that story of the multiple offers in Oshawa. So it was at 62% sales as a percentage of new listings, down to 60% in February, both technically still in seller's market territory. But in the first half of March 2024, we've dipped into a balanced market, kind of leaning towards a seller's market. Durham Region doesn't have to make up quite as much ground from the second week of March to the peak that we saw in 2023. But things are trending back towards a balanced market, at least from a sales as a percentage of new listings perspective. And I would expect to see some more listings hitting the market this week coming up after March break, after people are settled. Let's see if there's any buyer demand out there to meet that supply. If you enjoy videos like these ones jumping into the stats, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Now, York Region is really the region that made me want to put this video together because you can see Their 4-week weighted moving average through the second week of March is just shy of $1.28 million for that median sale price. That's only about $30,000 shy of where we were at the peak last year. We need to grow about 2.4% from here on out to reach that 2023 peak. And last year, prices grew from the second week of March to the peak by $70,000, about 5.7%. York Region is already sniffing those 2023 highs. After the market relaxed a little bit from January to February, we've seen that sales as a percentage of new listings tick back up a little bit through the first half of March. Still a little bit of a softer market than we saw in March of 2023, and it is in balanced market territory as a whole. But I know working with some buyers in that area, just like you're seeing everywhere else in the GTA, that sub $1.5 million market is super competitive and probably a lot tighter than we're seeing right here, which could drive that median price point up a little bit more. That's 4 market segments down. How many of those do you think will break through 2023 peak prices? Second last region will be Peel through the second week of March. We're sitting at $980,000 roughly for the median sale price. That's down around $84,000 from where we were at the peak last year. And 8.64% growth would be required to hit those 2023 peak prices. Similar to Durham Region, Peel Region saw prices jump just over 12% from the second week of March to the peak last year. That represented $115,000 in median sale price increase. I'm not sold that Peel Region gets back to 2023 peak prices based on what we're seeing with market balance. You can see things have relaxed from January each month, including into the first half of March, whereas last year we saw things tightening up. As we all remember, months of inventory stayed very low through the spring market. Last but not least, our lowest volume market, which is Halton. They're at $1.12 million for the median sale price right now. It's about $64,000 shy of where we were at the peak last year. We need to see things grow another 5.7% from now to hit that peak. Still ahead of where we were last year at this time. Prices did grow another 6.7% from the second week of March to the peak, about $75,000. Again, it is a lower volume market, meaning we do see less sales reported on the Toronto MLS, at least in Halton Region. Things relaxed a little bit going into February, but the market has tightened back up and jumped up into that technical seller's market territory. 2023 was more of a gradual tightening as inventory stayed low, so we'll see if this trend continues. So as a recap, I think Toronto Freehold market and York Region are almost slam dunks to surpass the peak prices that we saw in 2023. I'm a little iffier on all of those other markets. We're going to see how things play out the week after March break, how much listing inventory we get back to market, because it will have serious effects on months of inventory and that sales as a percentage of new listing numbers. If buyers can't come to meet that supply coming to market, it will put downward pressure on prices. It's not a guarantee that prices will come down, but we could see ourselves in a bit of a stalemate situation similar to what we saw in the second half of last year, where sellers just weren't willing to part with their properties for what buyers were willing to pay for those properties. As a reminder, here's what I'm talking about. This is months of inventory going back to the beginning of last year. And here's our spring market when things really bottomed out. And you can see where we're at right now relative to where we were last year. Every single market is significantly higher from a months of inventory perspective than where we were at last year, meaning there's more than likely less upwards price pressure. But I'll ask one more time, let me know what you think in the comments below. Which markets will hit 2023 peak pricing? I think we all agree there's no chance they hit 2022 peak pricing, but I'm always interested to hear what you think. Thank you so much for sticking with me through another video this week. Until we speak again next time, please stay safe and cheers.